Hi everyone, so I'm really excited about this video. Of course, as usual, I had other videos planned. I've still got about 4 comics to review. I still want to do my another video about John Carter, but I think I'm the only person who wants to see that video. So I'll just do that one some other time. But I was looking at my my feed of suggestions, and it showed this this video called Riri Williams is Trash by a guy named Micah Curtis. I hadn't seen his stuff before. I checked him out. He seems to do a whole bunch of different topics, but he said something that I brought up in my last one, where I said my last video on Riri Williams said that she was a what did I call her? Something like a surly sociopath who seems more of like a villain than a hero. And basically, Micah Curtis, he basically went one step further and said the only way to salvage this character is to take Brian Michael Bendis off of it. But I want to posit 2 things. Number one, that you could turn Riri Williams into the greatest Marvel new creation of the last 25 years if you made her a villain. And I think the only person who could do that properly is Brian Michael Bendis. So one of the things, so I actually brought up this villain thing, and a couple other people brought it up too. But people usually say Riri Williams, or they say Invincible Iron Man, but they don't really use her official superhero name, which is Ironheart. And if you think about it, Ironheart is not a hero's name. That is a villain's name. You know, Lionheart is heroic. Iron Man is, very tough and heroic too. He has a will of iron. He has the strength of iron. But Ironheart, that's a villain's name. That's someone with a cold steel heart. I mean, come on. A heart made of metal is not any kind of symbolism you want for a hero. And then I start to think about this more, because we saw her very hero origin, or creepy hero origin. It was just completely sociopathic. And Brian Michael Bendis is a lot of things, but he's not stupid. He is very talented. He's also very lazy. He's also very self-impressed. But when he started, he was the legit big deal. He was taking things in a new way. I loved him when he started. And then he started becoming a parody of himself. In my last video of the Riri Williams, at the end of her long spiel, she goes, "I was compelled. Yes, compelled. I felt compelled. That's the word, compelled." And I started joking about Bendis is now doing Bendis-esque dialogue in his own stories. He's literally it's like if you had one of those tribute bands, but it was the same. It was the same guys. There's a Rolling Stones tribute band that is the Rolling Stones, and they're getting all the dance moves wrong. They're getting the lyrics wrong chord progressions, everything. But you're like, wait, I think this Rolling Stones tribute band that's Mick Jagger. Why are they at this dive bar working for $180 between the 4 of them? So Bendis was very good at flipping things. He was very good at, when he started, the whole everything was wrong. And I mean, this is okay. So I've talked about how Marvel has not created a popular, lasting character in 25 years. It was the Image guys, specifically Rob Liefeld, who were the last burst of creative force, 4 presidents ago? The early 90s, we're talking Deadpool, Domino, Cable, Gambit, Jubilee. So, that's also Chris Claremont and I think Jim Lee. So this is the last burst of creative energy. You show me a character, and some people in the comics are saying Gwenpool is being canceled, which is the stupidest idea, because that's not on the level of these other characters that I mentioned, but that's one of the few original ideas they've had literally in 25 years. But if you think about it, making Riri Williams a villain, and not a villain in that some weird way where she's really good but people think she's bad. I mean, we've established that she only became a superhero because she felt the need to be oppressed in a non-oppressive country. She, 5 or 6 years ago, she's 8 or 9 or 10, and I showed in my last video, she stands up I would show you, but I already ripped. I already ripped and threw away the comic. She stands up. She says, "I want to be a scientist." And the teacher's like, "That's great." And then she's like, "Oh, aren't you supposed to tell me I can't be a scientist?" Then she holds up this black female astronaut, a picture of her that she carries around everywhere. And she says, "She was told she couldn't be a scientist or an astronaut, and she did it." And he's like, "Well, you know, things are fine now. You can do whatever you want." Then she stares at her teacher like a complete psychopath. And until, like, for 2 pages, until the teacher just randomly picks Tony Stark and says, "Well, you can never be as good as him." Totally tongue-in-cheek, just trying to get this psycho kid to sit down. And then that became Riri Williams' life pursuit. Now, like you said, her original goal was to be an astronaut. But she has this weird, because we talked about how her origin is like the most cartoonishly, like, it's just, you know, black people and they're all in ghettos and everyone's getting shot. She's had like 2 dads. It doesn't make any sense, especially since when they showed her in her grade school, it was this completely idyllic, nice grade school. And then she's got a friend who's totally nice. Of course, her friend got killed at a church picnic, no less, while I'm sure people were singing gospel songs with soulful tears going down their face before the shooting. But if you think about it, Riri Williams would make the greatest character ever because she's the perfect symbolism for everything that people dislike about SJW Marvel and millennials. Because like I said, hey, millennials, I met a lot of great millennials out there. I love you guys, but I also hate millennials. And you know what? So does everyone. Like I said, I have been in places where the most liberal, progressive, PC person, as soon as the millennial walks out of the room, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't stand them." And everybody just starts laughing. But if you think about it, so Riri has no original ideas. She's immersed in grievance politics so blatantly that she will literally ask to be oppressed so that she can fight against this fake oppression that she asked for. She then focuses on a guy who's always tried to do good for most of his adult life since, you know, his origin as a hero. He's messed up several times, but it's always been in the goal of doing something bigger. And he's always come back to do more good. This is Tony Stark, a real true hero. He doesn't match Riri Williams at all. Riri Williams does not help people to help people. She helps people to spite phantoms that said she couldn't help people. As Tony Stark, he's got this great origin where, and the movies really drive it home. So he does something to save himself, and he kind of helps some people on the way going back to his Malibu pad. And then he sits there and he literally thinks, "I wish I would have killed more terrorists on the way out. And there's still people in that village." So then he does that Mark II armor. He flies back. He gets in all sorts of trouble with multiple, the government. And he goes back there and he goes, "Oh yeah, I need to kill all y'all terrorists and rescue all the people in the city." So this is a real, because he could have just chilled, a steady stream of starlets giving him you-know-whats on the couch every day for the rest of his life. But he found something new in himself, and he was changed. And what's happened with Riri? She's come into the hero game, and everyone, and let's lay it out here. She was created so a bunch of white guys could say, "Look how progressive we are. We created this black female hero." But then in the world, everyone has rolled out the red carpet. As soon as they meet Riri, they love her. S.H.I.E.L.D., they've always wanted her. She's the greatest genius. She's smarter than Tony Stark, even though all she's ever done was copy something that Tony made under the most harrowing of circumstances. And she did this using stolen material from a lab. MIT gave her a scholarship. She went over there. Instead of studying, she stole material to get that fake revenge against Tony Stark. It makes no sense. This is not the way any kind of good person talks. This is not how a hero ever thinks. This is all the earmarks of a villain. And here's where it gets great. Because if they go have a little closed-door meeting, because I feel like stuff like Legacy, I feel like Disney is finally noticing all the shenanigans at Marvel and they're getting sick of it. I think Legacy is a way for Axel Alonso and Tom Brevoort to save face It's kind of like, and I'll probably do a video on this. It's a pretty cool fourth dimensional chess move. It's this, if it's successful, when you pair the SJW heroes with the originals, you get to say, see, they are both equally popular. Putting them together was great because people love both of them. So let's just do the SJW heroes. If it fails, they get to say, boy, you know what? You guys said if we pairing them with the classics would do great, and it didn't. So it's actually the SJW characters are better because this is all ego. This is all ego. This is all Axel Alonso's evil or ego train. And I actually have another whole video where I think One More Day is actually what led to Marvel giving, or Quesada handing off the reins to Alonso and literally saying you can do whatever you want. Okay, but getting back to Riri as a villain, think about it. So when I was in school, one time I overheard a conversation. It was two girls, and one of them was a black girl, and she was talking about how she was on a full ride scholarship, and the other girl said, "Oh, that must be great." And the black girl had the word. She said, "They don't care about me. My grades sucked. They gave this to me so they could tell themselves that they helped a little poor black girl." And she said this just flat out, and I was shocked. This is a long time ago. But what if that is Riri's motivation? That she is literally like getting revenge on society for racism, and then what is basically progressive racism. Constantly rolling the red carpet. She can literally say when she's doing things, did you do this for Spider-Man? Did you do this for Daredevil? Did you do this for all these people? Whenever a white man comes out, you guys run him through the gauntlet. He has to prove himself. And then me, the little black girl from Chicago, you didn't see me as an equal. You automatically opened doors for me that you shouldn't have because you didn't think I could really earn it. So then she goes out to proceeds to trash everyone she can just to get revenge on them for dehumanizing her by not holding her to the same standards that you would any other character. Because this would it would work on two levels. It's what the creators and Marvel did, and what all of these trash comic news sites and quote geek culture sites, they're all garbage. So one of the reasons I started this channel is because all those sites are complete trash. And then it can be this weird thing. It's like, oh, because she can be saying, Nick Spencer loves to do this. He likes to denigrate the fans. This wouldn't denigrate the fans. It would actually compliment the fans and say, oh, I always thought she was getting it too easy. I always thought it was ridiculous that everyone just instantly loved her. And we turn it around on them, and it's like, yeah, why were you doing that? Why did you think that she couldn't operate on a level playing field? Why were you condescending to her, acting like it was amazing that she created something that had been created 10 years ago with stolen parts? Why isn't she in jail for stealing those parts? So this is really exciting. I mean, they could literally, at the 11th hour in the 9th inning, they could say, oh, all those things the SJW Marvel could say to the fans, oh, you thought we were doing all this? Oh, we were just setting you up. We were actually using, societal trends, just like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, all the day. We're speaking about something in society. We're seeing some trends, we're seeing some new things, and like Star Trek did this all the time. We're doing a socio science fiction story, like the X-Men again, and this is about not discrimination, but the what do they call it? The soft bigotry of low expectations. Nobody should have ever been impressed with Riri Williams making her first version Ironheart suit. They should have said, number one, you stole from people who were doing something really nice to you, MIT. Number two, you made something in ideal conditions that's not as good as something that somebody made in a freaking cave with like a jury-rigged pacemaker keeping them from dying. So if you want to, finish your degree and apply to work at Stark Enterprise and all this type of stuff, but nobody ever did that. They saw little poor black girl from Chicago, and all of a sudden they said, she cannot handle being treated the same as you would treat anyone else. Great motivation for a villain, and it's a great, she can use this against everyone. So tell me what you think about turning Ironheart, come on, that name, into a straight up villain, and not a misunderstood villain. I mean, literally someone whose goal is to get revenge on society, and the superhero society in particular for dehumanizing her by not holding up to the same standard as everyone else. Tell me what you think. Could SJ Marvel ever do this? I don't think they would ever do this because they'd have to admit they were wrong. This is all an ego train. It's the ego of talented people like Bendis, and it's the ego of untalented people like Alonso and Brevoort. And then to the legions of 23-year-old assistant editors that seem to be doing most of the work there these days. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think Ironheart is a villain's name or a hero's name. Tell me if you think Riri Williams' origin is that of a hero or of a villain. Tell me what you think about everyone rolling out the red carpet for her everywhere she goes, overpraising her. Is that actually a form of racism, to not hold her to the same standard as they do pretty much every other superhero I've ever seen? Thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, and hit notifications. And I will have a comic review up later tonight, unless I come up with some really cool, fun topic to talk about. Thanks a lot.